Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Wake up.
Welcome to Wrestling Through the Years. I am the armchair quarterback, Dizzle, and I'm here with the greatest fan mind in wrestling, Dutchy.
Yo, my belly just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
And the man that puts the E in easy money, Eric's
What's up?
here, everybody.
Happy
you doing?
Friday.
Happy Friday. How's everybody doing? We're here for a great night, Wrestling Through the Years. This is going to be a great podcast. We're talking about the greatest tag teams in the history of wrestling. And the worst tag teams in the history of wrestling. This is our official tag team rankings. So we're going to really talk about the art of tag team wrestling today. And sometimes it gets lost in company. Sometimes it's kind of the forefront.
Yeah.
Tag team wrestling is like its own unique thing. And it's kind of its own genre in its own way. So it is. It's going to be fun to get into. It's going to be a fun time, but we're probably going to get into it right off the bat here, so we can get as many.
I was just going to say, there's nothing really. I mean, obviously, watch SmackDown later. It was taped, but we're not going to give any spoilers.
I kind of want to on the one that I know, but
yeah, there's one other thing that I know that was big. But
oh, you bastard!
I didn't know if I was going to go up early tonight or not.
That's fair.
What happened?
But we'll digress and we'll not talk about it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. He's trying to sing a signal, Eric.
I know.
Yeah.
I did it bad.
He's the man. Tag team rankings. Let's get into the criteria, gentlemen.
Yeah.
If we can. Doug's got his notebook. I got my phone, and Eric's got that beautiful mind of his. So we're ready to go here.
And that beautiful smile.
That beautiful smile.
Thank you, guys.
Our first line of criteria is the individuals. Who makes up the tag team, the stars, the wrestlers, how good they are, and what we think of the individuals in the team. And we will rank all these categories out of 10. So we will give 1 through 10 and then add them all at the end. And that's how we're
no decimals, right? Eric can fuck off with the decimals.
Yeah, no decimals.
Yeah, no decimals.
No decimals. No fucking decimals. But and that's how we're gonna rank it. So individuals. Our second one's chemistry. And then we have matches, then longevity, and then impact, overall impact. So and all those are very important things that chemistry is a big deal.
Because there's been plenty of tag teams over the years that
don't have it,
look good, and we're going to get pushed, but they wanted to kill each other riding in the car.
Yeah.
And a couple of them actually come to mind, but I don't know if we're going to get to them or not. So
yeah, exactly.
I won't say them yet.
So let's go right off the bat with somebody who's a major force in the company right now, Cody Rhodes and Bob Holly.
Cody Rhodes, Bob Holly. So individual.
Interesting tag team.
It really only matters what they get at the end. So if you do want, you can write all of it down if you want. I'm only writing down the points.
Right. Chemistry, matches, longevity, impact.
All right.
So this one's an interesting one because I feel like they put Cody because they started Cody on a single run.
Yeah.
After, they took Dusty off TV after Randy Orton punted him in the head. And they started Cody on a single run. And he wasn't necessarily getting over it because he was a generic babyface.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're like, all right, well, we'll put him in a tag team. Well, who do we put him in a tag team with? The guy who fucking hates rookies.
Yeah.
So, but him and Bob Holly, I felt, and by the way, they held the tag titles for 6 months.
And at the time, obviously, this is 2 Hall of Famers someday that are going to be in the Hall of Fame. 2 guys.
If Bob Holly picks up his phone when they call him.
I think Bob Holly will probably go in later on. At some point, because he does have a good body of work. And this tag, especially late in Bob Holly's career and early in Cody, and the fact that, for the simple fact that we got the evolution in Cody's moveset, that he does the Alabama Slam now. And
Yeah.
that's like one of his, because his whole thing is like, I steal from everybody I've worked with over the years. And Bob Holly took his Alabama Slam, and it's fucking awesome. So and for the individuals, I'm going to give this a 9 because 8. I'll go 8.
I'll go 8 too.
Cody's the man, and I do like Bob to an extent, but Cody really carries it.
Yes. Cody brings it to an 8 for me.
So, to me, I would say 9, because I've always been a huge Bob Holly fan. So I'm gonna say 9, and I was a fan back in 2008 of the team.
Yeah. And Cody's my favorite wrestler, so I probably should go like 9 or 10, but I'm going to go 8 because I do like Bob Holly, but Cody I'm kind of judging them around this time too.
Yeah.
Not just
Yeah.
as, I mean, the individuals
Young Cody.
kind of their own thing. I mean, that is kind of how we should judge is the individuals, like what they would go on to do and what else they did. And they both had great careers, obviously. So,
Well, Bob's was winding down at the time.
yeah. But Cody, I mean, we see what he became. We didn't think it was going to fucking happen at the time, but
yeah, because if you look at it, Bob, when they paired them together, Bob Holly was coming off an injury.
Yeah,
and they're like, all right, he's coming back. We're going to get him back. Do we put him back in ECW, which was failing at the time because the guy that they wanted to be the not necessarily the face, but the guy that they wanted to mentor that new generation of talent, lost his mind and his life. So it's, that brand was, for lack of a better term, dead. So it's like, all right, do we put Bob back on ECW? Do we take him to SmackDown or do we take him to Raw? And what do we do with him on Raw?
all
right. Well, Cody needs help getting over. Bob Holly can smack him around a little bit, and we're going to see how tough this kid is.
Yeah, I mean, it expert strategy, and it did kind of, I think it worked. Right now, we're at a 25 going into chemistry because we got 2 8s and a 9.
Okay.
Even though, I mean, you kind of did persuade me into changing my mind, but I already said it. It's already written down on paper, damn it. So we'll go into chemistry. I think these guys, because I love a good, and we're going to talk about this a lot throughout this episode, probably. And then this will be followed up by more episodes because there's so many tag teams later on.
I was just going to say, I mean, at one time, the Crockett territory, the Carolinas, in the 60s and 60s and early 70s, it was all tag teams.
Yeah.
It was a tag team territory. Until Jim Crockett took it over from, it was either his brother-in-law or his it may have been stepfather.
Yeah.
John Rangley, who was married to Frances Crockett, who I actually believe she was the mother. So this might have been a stepfather, but he was running the territory. It was a tag team territory. But he was having an affair.
Yeah.
So when they found out he was having an affair, obviously they cut him out of the business. And then Jim Crockett took over and just started booking singles guys.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of tag teams to go over because tag team wrestling has just been, even though
it's historic, damn it.
Yeah.
And WWE is, and that's why it's like it's hard because WWE has always been like kind of number one. And it's always been the big deal so when it doesn't prioritize tag team wrestling, and there's been several moments where it hasn't, it kind of loses its steam. But other companies, keep it up.
Yeah, TNA had an awesome tag team division for a while.
And I'll even say
we'll get to
AEW
that.
had a great one to start with.
Now it's kind of just
Yeah. For chemistry, these guys had a fun. And by the way, I forgot to say my point, but odd couple tag teams. We're going to see a lot of these on this list at some point. But and this is a good example: a young rookie kid with a guy that hates rookies and an older dude that's winding down in his career. I thought they did a good job working together, and I think that they had some fun tag stuff. And I do think the chemistry when Cody betrayed him for Ted Jr., I thought that was a cool storyline moment too.
Yep.
So for chemistry, I'm going to give them a 6. I thought they had decent chemistry, but I don't associate either of these two with their greatest stuff with this team.
So starting out, they really didn't have chemistry. It was just an odd couple team.
Yeah.
And then they started to get chemistry a little bit, but you could still tell that like Bob was just like, don't piss me off or I'll still slap the shit out of you.
Yeah.
I'm going to give their chemistry, I'm going to give it a 4. Because I really didn't see it except for like maybe like the last 2 months.
Yeah. So I gave it a 6. You gave it a 4. What did Eric give it?
I'm going to agree with Doug to a point, but I'm going to give it a 5.
That's plus 4, plus 5. All right, we got 15 for chemistry.
Yeah. So that's a 40 altogether, I think, right now.
Yeah, I'll add it up at the end. Matches. Doug, get into some of the matches and the longevity are going to be your
Okay. So
the encyclopedia.
when they won the titles from Cade and Murdoch, they were starting a storyline where Cade and Murdoch were having problems to begin with.
They did have good shit with them, though.
They did, and the matches were decent.
Because I like Cade and Murdoch.
Yeah, Cade and Murdoch were fucking. I love Trevor Murdoch.
Yeah.
Lance Cade, yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I mean nothing against him.
Yeah.
Nothing against him as a human
You don't
being.
have to be a
as
fan of his work.
As a worker, it's just it didn't do much.
Yeah, we're here to give our opinions.
But those matches were pretty good. You know, they did have some matches with Carlito and Santino, which were actually pretty good. Carlito and Santino were a very good heel comedy tag team. As in, Carlito was trying to be serious and Santino just wasn't.
Get a little somebody lip, Bubba. There you go.
All right. And then, of course, they also worked with Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
Oh, yeah.
So they had decent matches.
They had all right, and they had the world title run, right?
The world tag team title. Yeah.
They had the world tag titles, so which is a big deal, and that's something. I mean, that'll be more of a different category, but they had good, matches for belts. But it's not a good sign when the most notable thing that I remember them for is the breakup.
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna say a 3.
What's your take, Eric? I don't really remember all the matches besides when Cody turned.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a 3 too.
I'll go 3.
Nothing memorable. So
we'll give him a 9. Longevity, this doesn't bode well for them either.
All right. So technically their run as a tag team went
this is going to be a fun episode for
7 months.
7-month reign.
Okay. Well, 7-month run. They had a 6-month reign as champions. They were put together.
So they were champions most of their run, which is good bonus points.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So a 6-month solid world title run and then a breakup. I will give that a little more credit than it's not like they did 6 months of jobbing and mid-card shit. I mean, it all tags mid-card, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Of jobbing and not being placed well. They were positioned pretty well. And so I'll give them a 5 on this one. Because 6 months ain't a long run. But
that's where I was going. I was going 5 too.
So you're going 5 as well?
Yep.
All right. I'll also go 5.
So 15?
Yeah.
All right. 25, 15. All right. Last one, Impact. Overall impact. And honestly, No offense to either men, but a lot of people don't remember this.
Not at all, unless you hear Cody talk about it.
Yeah, and a lot of people, and the Cody fans, a lot of people that are Cody fans and love Cody. And listen, I've watched Cody Rhodes my whole life watching wrestling. I have not been a Cody Rhodes fan, and I'll admit this willingly, until AEW started in 2019 and that whole independent thing. And even it was AEW. I started watching those being up until Double or Nothing. I'm like, oh my god, this new company can be fun. Let's go. I've always wanted this. Let's go. And Cody was the man. And I really got into him as a fan, and seeing his journey since has been fucking awesome. But I've watched him as a kid, but I was always like, he was never for me. I mean, it was just, and I'm honest about it. A lot of people be like, oh, I was in it since, Dashing. And it's like, I like Dashing as a heel. I like bullet against him, but Cody was never really my guy as a kid.
Right.
But I'm a big fan of both gentlemen. But like I said, when you think of both guys' careers, this isn't what you look on.
No.
I'm going to give this a 2. I don't think it had much impact at all, honestly.
I'm going to be a little kinder, and I'm going to say 3.
They won the titles, so I don't want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go 3 too.
I'll go 3 too.
And the reason why I went 3 is because SmackDown, the WWE tag team division, because remember, they had 2 sets of tag titles, but they really didn't have good tag teams. You had Miz and Morrison on SmackDown, and that's like it.
Yeah.
Miz and Morrison, I think they brought Crime Time back, and then, yeah.
And we got 73 for the boys.
It's not a bad score, to be honest.
No, it's not. $73 for the boys here. Next up, we're going to take it to some guys that just got to SmackDown, have had a nice little run. It was a part of a great TLC match and made their name in TNA. Let's talk about the Motor City Machine Guns, gentlemen. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. First, Eric, let's talk about the individuals. I know you're a fan of both men and TNA.
Yep. I just watched the match with against Beer Money, actually, on the Ultimate X when they had the best of 5. So I just watched that one. And yeah, I mean, the chemistry in that match was awesome. Each guy individually is pretty damn good too.
Yeah,
they both had good single runs in TNA. I think they both won X Division Championship.
Yeah, and Sabin won the world title.
Yep.
I don't think Alex Shelley ever won the X Division title.
No,
he went for it.
I did like the camera shit he was doing though with the
stuff. The paparazzi productions.
It wasn't he hanging out with Nash?
Yeah. So it's funny. Chris Sabin had come off, I think his 3rd or 4th X Division title run. Loses the title to Black Machismo Jay Lethal. Alex Shelley, God bless him, is coming off working with Bob Backlund. Okay. So it's Slammiversary. They decide, okay, we're going to start putting these guys together. And Kevin Nash manages them for
I remember this, yep.
For about a month. They work, they beat Jerry Lynn and Bob Backlund at it was I believe Victory Road in 2007.
Yeah.
So they, and then they just kind of they're put together because like Alex Shelley, the camera stuff was getting kind of old. Chris Sabin, there's only so much he can do. So they decided, okay, we're just going to put these guys together. They're going to be an X Division tag team. All of a sudden, 4 or 5 months later, they're working with Team 3D.
Yeah.
And they are 2 top-notch athletes.
And when people were talking about like building TNA, like when they were like, dude, TNA could actually be a serious competitor, the Machine Guns were like a big reason why.
Yeah.
And like building that tag division. As individuals, I'm going to give them a 7. Both guys did good stuff, and Chris Sabin had that world title run, but it did feel That one wasn't after Daniel Bryan, right? Or was that before it or after it?
Before the whole Yes movement.
Yeah.
It was before the Yes movement. Yeah. They were really struggling in ratings, and they wanted to try to do something to pop a rating.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
And Doug, you were right. I just looked
So
it up.
what'd you guys give it?
Hold on. Eric said I was right about something.
Okay.
You were right about the Victory Road.
Yeah. So personally, I'm gonna give it an 8, and I'm gonna give them an 8 for individuals because I think they were both top-notch guys. I feel like the tag team, they really needed to be in a tag team.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give them an 8.
I'm gonna agree with Doug, giving an 8 too.
All right, we're at 23. Not doing quite as good as Rhodes and Howie.
It'll get there. Don't
Not
worry.
yet.
And this is where it will get there. Chemistry, I'm going to give them a 10 out of 10. I think when I think of a tag team, you need a good chemistry. You need like a rock and roll at midnight. These guys have it. They really I can't see them tagging with anybody else. The Machine Guns, they work together well. I think
Alex Shelley tried.
I know, but they're great together.
Yeah.
The Machine Guns, they built TNA. I'm glad that they're doing their thing on SmackDown, but yeah, I'm giving it a 10.
So here's the funny thing. When Chris Sabin started at TNA, he was 21 years old.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. And he wrestled in TNA from when he was 21 to, I think they left, or he left. Alex Shelley was already gone. I think he left when he was like 33. So he spent about 12 years in the company.
Yeah.
Now,
They were the founding fathers.
they had a lot of injuries, and he had a lot of injuries. You know, he tore his ACL a couple times. But as far as chemistry goes, just some of the stuff they could come up with. And by the way, all those fancy dance moves and their finisher, the skull and bones, it's just so basic, but it works.
Yeah, it works.
So I'm going to agree. I'm going to say 10.
There you go.
Sweep it. 10.
All right, there you go, Guns. 30. And here's another good one. The matches. And I think they had a bunch of classics in TNA. They were killer. Their matches with Beer Money, of course. That was probably their greatest rivalry, was the matches with Beer Money. But they also had good matches with Team 3D, as you said, and various other
Wolves.
Even the Bucks. Generation
D.
Yeah.
Did they face American Wolves?
They might have in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
I'm not 100. Don't quote me on that, though.
I'm trying to think they did in TNA, because American Wolves were in TNA.
No, by the time the Wolves got there, Alex Shelley was already gone.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't know it was that late.
I believe, and here's the funny thing. You know, they kind of can get that the comparison to Rock and Roll Express, because Rock and Roll Express, you always think of them with the Midnights.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the Rock and Roll Express also had good matches with the Freebirds, with the Horsemen, Arn and Tully, and also Arn and Ole. With the Russians, with Ivan and Nikita, and the Machine Guns. It wasn't just about Beer Money, them and Beer Money.
Yeah,
they could do this stuff with Team 3D. They had a really good run with Generation Me, the Young Bucks, in both Ring of Honor and in TNA.
Yeah,
they worked. They did work some matches with the Kings of Wrestling, Chris Hero and Claudio Castagnoli, back when Claudio had talent. And they also worked with the Briscoes.
Yes. I'm going to give them a 9.
On matches?
Yes.
All right.
I'm going 9.
I'm going to go I'm going to say 10 again.
All right.
I'm gonna go 10 too. Yeah, and I just looked it up. They did face American Wolves in some, I think, independent. I don't know if it's ROH, but I just looked it on YouTube.
All right. Longevity. These guys have stayed together for a very long time. How long have they been together?
All right.
And count each run.
All right. So their first run when they started in 2007, they split. And it wasn't necessarily like either of their fault, but they had to split in 2011 or technically they didn't split. They were just hurt. So 5-year run in TNA. Then Alex Shelley left. Then they did then they got back together in 2015 in Ring of Honor, stayed there till about 2018.
Wow.
And then went back to TNA. So we're looking at about
4 different runs.
Yeah. I'd say they've been together over 10 years.
Damn.
If you look at all the runs together.
And that's a long run for a tag team, especially in the business where it's always good to break them up.
Yeah.
10 years.
I mean, and Alex Shelley did have some time as a time splitters with Kushida.
Yeah.
And Chris Sabin also, because Alex Shelley back during the pandemic, they brought them back, but then Alex Shelley for a time. Alex Shelley is also a paramedic.
Yeah.
Or he's a paramedic, or he's in healthcare doing something. Every time he would be on call for healthcare, he would leave and he'd be like, look, this is my first wrestling's not my first job anymore.
Yep.
Now it's back to being that again.
Yeah.
Because you're in a place where wrestling better be your first fucking job unless your name is Roman Reigns.
Or John Cena.
But so I'd say they've had like a 10+ year run. So long for longevity, I gotta go 10 again.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
I'm trying to think if there's like a team that stayed longer than 10 years. I mean,
Rock and Roll
can get like 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, together they are 100.
I give them a 9. I'll go 9. 10 years is a damn good run.
Yeah, it is.
What'd you say, Eric?
I'll give it 9 too. Just because there's longer tag teams out there.
Yeah. All right. And that's a 28 for that. Now, overall impact, I think they're known as one of the greatest TNA tag teams of all time. As far as tag team history, I don't know if they're thought of in as much favor. But as far as accolades, how many times have they won the TNA tag titles?
I want to say
2.
Oh, I was going to say 5.
No, because they won it for the first time in 2010. And then they didn't win them again, I think, until 2020 or 2021.
Okay.
They won it 3 times.
3?
Yeah.
All right.
And they WWE tag champions.
WWE tag team
In their
champions.
first
By the way,
weeks
Ring
of
of
the
Honor tag team champions as well.
Yes.
They won it from 3 actually pretty impressive companies. ROH at the time was
your heavyweight tag champ.
IWGP as well.
Yep.
That's
4 big companies right there.
Well, here's the thing. Look at everywhere they went. New Japan, TNA, Ring of Honor. They did a couple things for AEW because they were technically still on the Ring of Honor roster when Tony Khan bought AEW.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So they had a little test run where they were with Jay Lethal, but then Alex Shelley had to leave again because, again, his healthcare job.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and then WWE just made them the better offer.
And now, a lot of people have been critical of their WWE run and said it hasn't been that exciting. And I do think a lot of their best years are behind them, sad to say. But the TLC match was fantastic, and they were a big part of that. So For Impact, I'm gonna give it, and it's funny, it's Impact and TNA and all that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them a 7.
Yeah.
I think they go down as one of the greatest TNA, but as far as overall wrestling, I don't even know if they're in the top 30.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
It's funny. Again, I talked about Chris Sabin earlier. He started at the age of 21 in TNA. You would think that he's a lot older. He's only 43 years old.
Yeah.
And you have a guy like AJ Styles who's still going at a high level of 48.
Yeah. I mean, even he's winding down, though.
Oh, yeah, because he even said, he's like, there's a lot of things that people want me to do that I just can't fucking do anymore.
Yeah, I'm getting old.
You want to talk about someone that's old, and right now it's Dustin.
Yeah, but he's still in it.
Yeah.
He's still kicking ass.
Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion with Sammy.
Loco. Yeah.
So Impact, I'm going to give it an 8.
I'm going to give it an 8 too. Because I think they are top 3 TNA tag team champion, best tag team. Top 3.
So that's a 23 for that.
They had to beat Cody and for all the 10 we gave.
Yeah, it's kind of
Obvious.
133.
they blew him out of the fucking water.
I might do that again just to make sure, but yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Damn. Let's go an independent one.
The Independent.
Technically, we just did.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
They were in
130.
ROH.
Good for the Guns. Let's actually go territory. And
Okay.
let's go with the Von Erich brothers.
You want to do Kerry and Kevin?
Kerry, Kevin, and David, the combination.
Okay.
So we can do the 3.
Uh
Because we will be talking about the New Day at some point in the Freebirds as well.
so it's funny, like with them, Kerry and Kevin, I think, had the better chemistry,
Yeah.
but Kerry and David were the better athletes.
As individuals, Kerry's a world champion. Kevin was a big champion, and he was Texas champion, and he fought for the title a few times. And David was going to be a star. For individuals, I'm giving the Von Erich brothers a 9. That's one of the more classic families in wrestling.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm only gonna go. You know what? I'll go 9. Never mind. I said I was gonna go 8, but this is one of my favorite
9.
families.
You
Just
go
because
9.
they're historic and they have the history behind that.
And especially those 3 is kind of that's what they're known for, is those 3
Yeah.
in the family.
Yep.
Like there's other brothers and Fritz and everything, but those 3 are kind of the core of it.
You could do a whole show on Von Erichs. I think we did, didn't we?
We did one on Kerry back in the Blog Talk.
Yeah.
Back when Blog Talk wanted to work.
Let's talk about chemistry.
I mean, they're brothers.
Yeah.
And
certainly.
here's the funny thing. I'm pretty sure Kevin was the oldest. And I think David was right behind him. And then Kerry.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to them.
Absolutely. Not rest in peace to Kevin. He's still alive. But like Kevin and Kerry, to me, always had the best chemistry in the ring. Even though if you look at it, like if you listen to Kevin talk, Kevin and David were the closest in real life.
Yeah.
Kevin and David, you said?
Yes. And Kerry was always close with younger brother Mike. But in ring chemistry, now when the 3 of them were together, the chemistry was really good too. But Kevin and Carrie together, that's where the magic was in the ring.
Yeah.
So for me, I would give the chemistry an 8.
I'd go 8 as well.
I go 9. Just because they're brothers.
Well, just because your brother and I can understand like your brothers, but just because like they're brothers doesn't necessarily mean the chemistry is gonna. I mean, like if Dangle and I were tag teaming, like the chemistry might be there because we kind of think alike sometimes. Now, if you and your brother were tag teaming, you'd tag your brother in and he'd yell at you, be I don't want to get in the ring.
You and me have good chemistry. I think.
Yeah.
Let's talk about.
No, I think me and my brother would have good chemistry.
I think you guys would too. You'd kick ass. Let's talk about the matches. Obviously, the Freebirds is where it's at. The classic matches with the Freebirds.
You cannot overlook the hair versus Gino and Chris Adams, the dynamic duo.
Yeah.
Okay. In a time where
that's what's our
yeah,
we stole their gimmick.
Yeah.
Them and Batman's gonna be pissed.
But like in a time where business was starting to go downhill, that was still a shining light because the Freebirds were gone.
Yeah.
And they needed something, and they needed powerful heels like Chris Adams, like Gino Hernandez. And you put them together, and that's where the magic is. And then they lose the match, and then all of a sudden, Chris and Gino start feuding. Chris Adams threatens to kill Gino Hernandez. Then Gino Hernandez, 5 days after that airs, Gino ends up dead.
Yeah.
And the fans are calling the police station saying, investigate Chris Adams.
Yeah, Chris Adams almost got in trouble.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And,
they had great tag matches with them. Obviously, the Freebirds, but there's various other combinations that would go.
Oh, the Samoans. The Samoan SWAT team.
Yeah.
Because the Samoans were in
they would work
world class in USWA Dallas, back in there. So they were there for a time. Also managed by Buddy Roberts at the time as well. So that kind of helped things.
They would work. Who would Brody work with against them? They kind of had it in the movie too.
I forget who Brody's partner was. Might have been Link.
Missing Link. That's phenomenal.
It might have been.
Oh.
Go ahead, Eric.
No, I was going to ask, did they ever face the Four Horsemen, but I don't think so.
I mean, they would all wrestle Flair in singles matches, but no, the Horsemen never made it too world class to do anything. Because by the time the Horsemen were formed, all the major territories had succeeded from the NWA.
Well, Bruiser actually tagged with Kerry against the Freebirds.
Oh, wow.
That's sick.
Yeah.
But these guys had great matches with every team they went up against. This is one of the all-time classics. I'm giving this a 9.
I'm gonna say 8 again.
I'll agree with Daniel. 9.
All right, 26.
Well, they're definitely going to beat out Cody and Bob.
Yeah. All right. Longevity, Doug. How long did the Von Erichs last as a combination?
Until they all died.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. And they always had different variations.
And that's not just me being a dick either. I mean, part of it is. But
they would bring in people that weren't even related to him. MJF played him. Lance.
Yeah, Lance. Well, the thing there was Mike wasn't over enough to carry things on his own. Kevin needed a partner. David had already passed. Chris Von Erich was, I think, still a senior in high school.
Yeah.
Or he was still in high school. I know that. So he couldn't necessarily get in the ring. And Kerry had the motorcycle accident. So they needed another Von Erich. They needed to bring in a Von Erich that would, kind of team with Kevin. So they brought in Lance.
So how long would you give a combined? Over 10 years, right? How long? When did the Von Erich start tagging together, the boys?
I think Kerry got brought into the business in 1981 or 80 or 81. David and Kevin were already kind of in it. So I would say close to 10 years. Yeah.
All right. Longevity. Even though it was different variations of it, I'm going to give the Von Erichs 10. I'll give it a 9.
I'm going to go 8 again. Because of the times that they weren't necessarily teaming, but
yeah. Eric?
I'm going to give it an 8 too.
All right, 25. Overall impact, I'm giving them a 10. I mean, when you have a movie made on you, you probably have pretty good impact. And they won the tag titles how many fucking times?
A bunch.
So they were the Von Erichs are a big fucking deal. I'm giving them a 10.
Especially in Texas.
Yes. Texas and the fans used to go fucking nuts for them.
Oh, if they were rock stars.
They were so over, and that's when the girls were kissing them as they were walking to the ring, and even though that Texas crowd was a little suspect looking back, it's still they were having a great time and they loved their fucking Von Erich. So I'm giving them a 10.
I'm giving it a 10 too.
I'm gonna agree with that because we talk. Jim Ross used to say all the time that Jeff Hardy was a rock star.
Yeah,
Kerry Von Erich was the original rock star.
Yep.
And then everybody was kissing him on the way to the ring. Even Survivor Series 91 when he came out and his run was starting to be shit. He's getting pulled by female fans and they're kissing him on the cheek and they're kissing him on the head as he's on his way to the ring. And
you got to be fucking kidding me.
What?
We got the same score
as the Guns?
Yep.
Oh boy.
It's getting interesting already. 133.
Wow. How did we do that?
We are complete idiots.
We should let Eric decimals. Shame on us. Yeah, the great impact for the Von Erich.
I did it as a tribute to Clintus saying no decimals.
I enjoyed that. And that was a good point at the end there. Let's move on to a modern tag team, the War Raiders.
Started at ROH. That's what were the names? I forgot now.
Hanson and Ray Rowe.
Way better than Ivar.
Yeah.
No, what were their names in ROH? I forgot now.
Hanson and Ray Rowe.
What were they in NXT?
I thought they had a name.
Well, those were their individual names. You asked what their names were. You said plural.
They were always the War Raiders, weren't they?
They were War Machine.
Oh yeah, War Machine.
Yeah, that's why I was asking their tag team name.
You said names, you plural, you dick.
That's funny. War Machine, which is a way better team. And then poor when they were the Viking Raiders. Oh my god.
Well, no, remember when they came in, they debuted on the main roster, they were known as the Viking Experience.
Yeah, which has got to be the worst tag name of all fucking time.
And by the way, when they were in NXT, they were still allowed to be, they were War Machine when they came in, but then they were changed to the War Raiders, but they were still known as Hanson and Rowe.
Yeah.
And then it's Ivar and Eric, the Viking Experience.
Yeah.
That's when Vince was like, and people were into those guys too.
Yeah.
As individuals, I'm gonna go no offense, and I liked seeing Ivar wrestle live. He beat Dom.
Yeah.
In that speed thing when we saw him at SmackDown. I'm gonna give him a 5. Both guys are fine, but they are known for
Yeah.
they're going to get good points in chemistry. That's why they get low points here because they're kind of only known as a team in my book.
Well, there was that time when Ray Rowe, he had the motorcycle accident back in 2015.
Oh, and Ivar got the run. Yeah.
Yeah, in 2014. So Hansen in Ring of Honor got a run, a couple of title shots.
He got the run in WWE too, though. Didn't Eric get hurt and Ivar got to do some shit?
He got to do some shit, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna up it a little bit. I'm gonna say 7.
Okay.
I'm gonna go in the middle and say 6.
All right. 18.
You always like it to be in the middle of
I knew you were gonna say
having
that.
the side, and then anyway.
Jesus, you're the lucky Pierre. All right. The chemistry. I'm going to give them a 9. I think they're a very solid tag team that works together very well. And they work with other teams, but they are like when I see Ivar, I want to see Eric next to him. So
I'm going to say 9.
I'm going to go a little further. I'm going to say 10.
All right.
Not that I'm trying to give them, Von Erich and Motor City Machine Gun numbers, but
try to get them up to 133.
Try to get them up to
It'd be
130.
funny if we did that again.
All right, the matches. I think they were way more known for their matches in Ring of Honor.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that.
Because then they have
Briscoes.
the Briscoes.
The
Yeah.
Briscoes, Taven and Bennett.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think the
Taven
Young Bucks
Bennett.
even too.
Yep. They did have matches with the Scumfucks. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, Red Dragon.
Red Dragon. Yeah.
The Addiction, which was
Adam
Frankie
Cohen.
Kazarian and Christopher Daniels back when they were trying to be creepy perverts, and succeeded. And
American Dragon? No.
no, they never worked the Wolves. Unless you're talking I mean, they never worked Bryan Danielson or American Dragon that long. Well, he said American Dragon.
I mean American Wolf.
That versus Jake Long would have been crazy.
Yeah. Jake Long, by the way, has been selected to participate in the division in the animated Anarchy series, for the One Tunes Combined podcast.
There you go. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out.
So,
yeah, their matches, I'm going to give them a 7.
Yeah.
Because I think in WWE, I don't think they have as memorable matches. They
No.
got a WrestleMania match this year, which is cool. But
I'm going to, and here's the thing, and here's one that we're leaving out. Shane Taylor and Keith Lee. Now, these are two big teams. They're all 300-pound guys. But the matches were fucking fantastic. They were so brutal. They were so high impact.
yes.
And they beat the shit out of each other. I'm going 8. So I'm being very kind to – I got to be kind to the fat guys.
Well, that's us in another universe. is
Yeah.
the word. So, all right, Eric, what do you got?
I got an 8.
All right. We'll give them a 23. All right, Doug, how long have they stuck around? Longevity.
I mean, technically, 2014 is when they came on the scene. We're in 2025, 11 years.
All right, 11 years. That's over the Von Erichs and
Yeah.
I'm going to give them I don't know.
Well, and the thing is, you also have to account for injury.
Yeah.
So
They're
so shave about 2 years off.
Forget about it.
So we'll say about 9. Let's say about 9 years.
I'm gonna give him an 8.
I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to give him an 8 as well.
E
I'm gonna
nasty.
give it an 8 too. I thought about a 7, but I'll give it an 8.
All right, 24 for that category. Now, overall impact. Now, these guys, I mean, IWGP Tag Team Champions twice, Ring of Honor Tag Champs once, the WWE World Tag Team Championship twice, the NXT Champions. They did some shit, and they've had a good run everywhere they've been. They're not like they're not the most talked about thing on Raw right now.
No.
That's for sure. But I I'm gonna say for overall impact, I'm gonna give them a 6. I don't know how they rank as far as like the greatest 100. Like I don't think they can be up there with the Guns and everything. I gotta go 6.
I think one of our boys
Who is that?
hopped in the chat room.
Hi, Sean.
Well, Eric recognized it right away. I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, boy.
But yep, TCAX Reaper will be part of the cartoon podcast tomorrow night as we determine a winner for the Cartoon Classic.
Yep, the finals.
All right, what do you give this, Doug?
7.
I'm gonna go impact in the indie scene. Yeah, but we're not talking about indie scene. We're talking about overall. So I'm gonna give it a 7.
All right. 20. There you go. The War Raiders.
This will be interesting. I mean, obviously, I think they're going to go ahead of Cody and Bob Holly.
I got 113.
Okay.
Lisa was right. Why are all of our numbers ending in 3?
I was gonna say that.
I'm getting scared, guys.
73, 113, and 133.
All right.
It's almost like we're doing this on purpose.
All right. Let's throw Doug a bone. Demolition.
Oh, boy. Here's the thing. They are one of my favorite tag teams. But even I can't necessarily be
Bias.
biased. You know, you should take it. Well, actually, no, you have taken notes because you've gotten better since we started the Cartoon Classic with your biasism.
No offense to the Repo Man, but when Crush is probably the best as far as the individual careers. When we're talking individuals.
Well, yeah. I mean, and
Barry Darsow had a good independent or territory run.
a territory run, yes. Individual, well, no. Bill Eadie as mass superstar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you cannot discount that. So I'm going to give them, because they are 3 very tough guys and they did have success to a degree, but I'm going to say 8. And most of that is going to Bill as
the mass superstar.
As mass superstar.
The Repo Man was a fun gimmick, and Crush got a lot of chances. My favorite version of it, because isn't he Chronic?
Yeah.
Yes, I love him in Chronic. It's WCW. Yeah, I'm gonna go 6. Eric?
I'm gonna go 7.
All right, we got 21. It's a good start. All right, chemistry. I think obviously Axe to Smash is the team.
Yeah.
No offense to Crush, but Crush's involvement was fun. But Axe and Smash is the team, and I think their chemistry was off the roof. So I give them a 10 out of 10. I think they were, and they were perfect for Golden Age, and they were super fucking over. You gotta think back that was Hogan and shit, and when they were the tag team for that, they were killer.
Okay, so here's the funny thing. They start out as, by the way, Barry Darsow wasn't always Smash. It was a guy by the name of Randy Colley. All right, but then Randy Colley wasn't working out, so they went a different route, and Bill had suggested Barry Darsow. They brought in, they're managed by luscious Johnny V. Johnny V, then, they go a different direction because they realize how bad Johnny V sucks. They go with Fuji, and they get over more with Fuji. And by the way, because there was always such a thing back in the day known as Heel Town.
Yeah.
The Heel Towns. They were over in the Heel Towns. So, and if you watch WrestleMania 4 when they first win the titles from Strikeforce, and Strikeforce was, they were the white meat babyface team. And nobody cared that Demolition cheated the way. Demolition started getting good reactions.
Yeah, they were more over than Strikeforce.
Yeah. So chemistry, I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to say 10.
I'll go with 10 too.
All right, 30. Clean sweep. It's looking good for Demolition. Now the matches. They had some pretty good matches, for the golden age. It wasn't long, big bouts.
Strike Force, obviously, they had good chemistry with Strike
The
Force.
feud with Legion of Doom was disappointing.
Yeah. Because, also, too, when they started the feud with Legion of Doom, Bill couldn't work.
Yeah.
And Brian Adams was a big, clumsy boob at that time. It took Brian Adams 3 years, or Crush, 3 years to figure out how to move in the ring. Because apparently in Portland, they didn't teach that shit. Also, too, by the time Brian Adams got to Portland, Don Owen was about 95 years old. I mean, not actually 95 years old, but he was in his 80s, and he was getting to the point where he was just like, he didn't really have it as far as like a promoter anymore. A certain guy who's trying to force his way back into wrestling should take note. But
you hear that, Coachman?
But
don't get me started with that.
As far as matches go, they had really good matches with Strike Force. They could work with that. They had better matches as a heel team.
Yeah.
Because you had Strike Force, Bulldogs, Hart Foundation. They worked well with the Rockers. They had decent matches as heels with Arn and Tully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry, I agree with you.
Yeah. So they had the really good matches with Arn and Tully. The match with Colossal Connection I should have done that talking about Arn and Tully, especially mentioning Tully's name because Tully does give me gas.
He farted on my kneecap.
Sorry.
It's okay.
But the match at WrestleMania 6 with Colossal Connection, Tag Team Classic, no. But the pop that they got in Toronto when they won it almost blew the roof off the place.
What would you give them? Matches. Let's go.
9.
All right, I'm going 8.
I'll go 8.
25. Longevity. How long did they last, Dougie?
Not long, so this is where they're going to be fucked.
They got together in 1987.
All right, and then Smash and Crush stopped in 91. So about 3.5 years.
Wow.
Him and Bill were together for 3.
Didn't they do it on the independents a little bit too, like later on in life?
Later on when they needed money, yeah.
I thought they were together longer.
So longevity, unfortunately, I'm only going to go with 6.
I'm going to give it a 5.
I'm going to go 5 as well. Well, for what they were able to do, did you write mine down already?
No.
6. All right, 17. Now, overall impact. I do think that they're known as one of the cooler Golden Age ones, but I also think that their overall impact and legacy is the guys that wore the BDSM costumes to the ring that looked fucking weird in the face paint and shit. And they're kind of known, and I'm sorry, Doug, and I don't want you to hit me, but they do get called the Discount Legion of Doom from time to time.
I was just about to say that too.
Discount Road Warriors.
Yeah, I've heard that before too.
I'm just saying, it's been said.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to hit you because I know you'll hit me back. But tomorrow I'm farting on Eric and giving him pink eye.
I'm just saying I've heard that before. I'm not saying I necessarily agree.
But
I'm just saying I've heard that.
Oh, I've heard it before too. But I've also heard it, like the people I've heard it from are fucking morons. Even though one of them is Jim Cornette, who we're still waiting for the blood test.
But I've actually grown to like Jim Cornette over the years.
He's the fucking man.
Yeah. As far as Impact goes, because they were the WWS tag division for a while, I'm still going to give them an 8.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
They were
you know,
top
3-time
tag
world tag champs, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 8
too.
I'll go 8 too.
Who should we go next?
It's 24. You get to pick the next one, and while you're thinking about it, I'm going to count this up.
Oh, I already know.
All right, well, you guys banter for a little bit.
So what are you wearing, Eric? What color thong?
I'm not wearing no thong.
What the hell?
You said banter. So I'm bantering.
All right, 117 is the overall.
Holy shit, we hit a number that didn't end in 3.
So you beat the War Raiders, you lost to the Von Erichs and the Motor City Machine Guns, and you destroyed Cody Rhodes and Bob Holly.
Well, duh.
All right, who do you got, Eric?
I'm going with them boys, the Briscoes, the best
All right.
ROH tag team of all time.
The Briscoes, and we'll make sure to put ROH because they are not the only Briscoe tag team.
Yep. Rest in peace, Jay.
Rest in peace, Jay. And fucking Mark's still killing it.
Oh my god.
He's the fucking man. His promo even on Dynamite
Yeah.
about MJF having a small penis was awesome.
Yeah. I know you know, obviously you have to compensate for having a small kosher pickle.
Well, that's the thing, and that's why individuals is so fun to talk about. Because Jay was the fucking Ring of Honor World Champion.
Jay was the Ring of Honor
He
World
was
Champion.
the solo star.
Yep.
But Mark could hold his own.
Yeah, and Mark now is doing great shit.
Well,
And that's
even
why-
back then when Jay was
I know.
world champion, Mark could still hold his own.
I know,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying. But now Mark's one of the guys that it's like when you look at AEW, it's like push this guy to the fucking moon. Why is this guy not in the main event, wrestling for the titles and shit? This guy's
Yeah.
the guy. And like the Briscoes individually, I think they rank pretty high. And R.I.P. Jay, and he did great shit in Ring of Honor and in the Independents. And
Especially
I
with Jay
wish those
Lethal.
two could have made it to WWE or something. But as individuals, I'm going to give them an 8.
I'm going to go a little higher, and I'm going to say 9.
Yeah,
Because
I'm gonna
Jay
say 9
did
too.
hold the Ring of Honor world title twice.
Yeah, he was a world champion.
Had great matches with Jay Lethal.
And his chemistry, I mean, they're brothers. And they,
Well, what did Goofus give it?
he said 9.
Okay.
So they have a 26. As chemistry, they're brothers. They were fucking amazing together. One of my favorite. I mean, not even one of my favorite Ring of Honor tag team of all time.
Yep.
I'm
Same.
gonna give them a 10 for chemistry.
Oh yeah, they had great chemistry. 10.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there too. Already, it looks like they're beating the guns.
And they faced the guns too.
And that's when we'll get into matches. They had great matches with the guns.
Motor City Machine Guns, you know, they had a tremendous rivalry with the American Wolves. This is actually a team, Eric, that the Wolves did work with. They
Yep.
tried to bring
Kevin
it up
Steen
a couple
and,
times earlier.
And a team that
And
worked,
Sami Zayn too.
Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, yep.
a team that wouldn't rank really high. I remember when you and me were getting into Ring of Honor, I think around 2010, maybe 11, the Cornette years. And right when they were getting on Sinclair and stuff.
Yeah.
And them versus the All Night Express.
All Night
Kenny
Express.
King and Rhett Titus.
And also Shelton and Charlie.
Is Rhett Titus right or is that somebody else?
No, you're correct.
Okay.
You're correct. Remember,
Young
we
Bucks.
saw them live wrestle Rhett and Kenny.
Really?
Yeah, at the Hamburg Fairgrounds. We went with Kenny Lehman.
Yeah.
And they had a match.
Who did the Kings wrestle?
I want to say they wrestled the Bravado Brothers.
Oh, shit.
Or it might have been somebody.
You have an iron steel mind, my friend.
It was either the Bravado. It was somebody that, or no, Cheech and Cloudy were their guys. I'm serious. Those were the guys' names.
Well, there you go. That's an independent wrestling show for you.
Yeah.
But-
FTR.
Yeah, I mean the Briscoes have had great matches with everybody they've stepped in the ring with. This is another one, but yeah, the All Night Express. I remember they did like a street fight, and it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
and
And the stuff with Shelton and Charlie as well.
yes,
Yep.
the world's greatest tag team,
Young
or
Bucks.
wrestling's greatest tag team.
Yeah.
The Bucks, of course. I'm going to give them a 10.
Yeah.
Kind of hard
They
to
had rivalries with like at least 5 different teams, especially.
Because they were great
Bucks
as
and
baby
FTR.
faces and heels.
Oh yeah.
So we're all
And
going
Jay's
10.
promos were amazing.
Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, they were. All right. How long did they last?
20 years.
Jesus.
Yep.
No, they started it as a team in 2002 when the company started. And yeah, they had, singles runs, but if they could team together, they teamed together.
Yep.
And they basically teamed up until Jay's passing.
Yep. In his last match was FTR and Final
And they
Battle,
never
I think.
feuded, right?
They had a couple matches against each other, but it wasn't necessarily a feud. It was Jay had beaten everybody's ass. All right, so what the fuck was always the name of the June pay-per-view? Best in the World or something?
Yeah.
That's also around the time when CM Punk was calling him that, and they were all trying to sue each other for copyright. But Best in the World 2012, Jay Briscoe comes out and says, "I've whooped everybody's ass." And then Mark comes out and says, all the times back when we were kids, I kicked your ass. I bet you I can do it again. And that's how they set up the world title match. And they beat the fuck out of each other to where Jay actually separated his shoulder in that match. Mark's face was all fucked up.
Damn.
Both fly.
Yeah.
Long time 20.
They weren't twins, right?
These guys are getting very.
No, Jay's older.
These guys might get ranked with the best here. What's a 10?
I'm going 10 too.
I'm going 10.
20 years is crazy.
I think that's one of the longest tag teams.
Overall impact, I think they're known as the greatest independent tag team to ever live, maybe. But that does WWE, like we said earlier with other teams, WWE matters. I know they weren't there for WCW. On a world stage, never really got to do it. And that does kind of negatively impact them. I'm sorry to be the fucking bearer of bad news. I'm going to have to give them a 6 on this one because I don't think
I understand.
Did enough.
That's partly them because they chose not to.
In front of
they went to Ohio, or not Ohio Valley. They went to FCW.
Okay.
But they went for a tryout, and they were told by Johnny Ace, who is no handsome devil himself. They were told by Johnny Ace, "Oh, I'm sorry, guys, but Mark, your teeth are too fucked up for us to put you on television."
That's crazy.
Wow. And they ran with that, and they became.
Yeah, I said, best independent tag team, but I'm gonna give them a 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them an 8. I don't give a fuck what Johnny Ace says about anything, except for now I kind of care because he's willing to help throw Vince McMahon under the bus. So I'm just gonna give him an 8.
All right, Eric.
I am too. I'm gonna give him an 8.
All right, 22.
They had to have surpassed
138.
Wow. Okay.
You're 6. Fuck them. They would have gone higher.
They're still winning. What the fuck?
Not good enough.
All right, let's talk about a team that was equally as beloved, the Ascension.
Oh God.
You want to talk about a
why the hell did you just get louder? What the hell?
You got extremely loud for a second. What were you saying?
I said you want to talk about a Legion Doom ripoff.
Yeah, you think Demolition's bad? These motherfuckers, as individuals, they never really did anything, did they? I mean, Connor kind of did some developmental stuff. Right? Connor and what's his name?
Connor and Victor. Connor is in Connor was known as Khan in TNA.
Tony Khan?
No.
I had to throw that joke in, sorry. Isn't
I'll
it?
tell you,
Connor and Victor.
yeah. So it's funny, they were Legion of Doom ripoffs, but they worked more like the Powers of Pain is, and they sucked. As far as the individuals, I'm giving them a 3.
Can I give him a 0? Or we're only doing 1 to 10?
Judges.
No, you can't give him a. Go ahead. Yeah, sure. 0.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Didn't they
I
tag
hated
with somebody else for a little bit too? Kenneth Cameron.
Oh yeah, that was way early on.
Yeah. All right. For individual, what'd you give him?
3.
I'll give him a 3 too.
No, 6.
All right, chemistry. I thought they worked kind of well. They had a good look to them, and they worked well with each other.
Yeah.
And being billed from the wasteland was cool.
Yeah.
And I like the whole thing that they had with Cody Rhodes for a little bit, the Cosmic Wasteland.
Oh yeah.
They could have did something with that with Stardust.
They could have, but
They didn't.
They were fairly decent in NXT. I'll say that.
They did have a pretty good NXT run.
Yeah.
They didn't get exposed till they went to the mid roster.
I'll give them a 5 because their chemistry in NXT was really good.
Yeah, I'll give them a 5 too.
I'll go 5. Let's give them 15. Matches. They had good matches in NXT. They didn't do anything worth a shit in WWE.
Yeah. Although, like when I started watching NXT, they were kind of headed towards the end of their run. So I got to see them work with the likes of Too Cool and Ricardo Rodriguez under Ricardo Rodriguez and oh yeah, because Ricardo Rodriguez was actually Kalisto's first partner.
It was?
Yeah. Matches, I'm gonna go 4.
I'll give 3.
I mean, they were dominant in NXT.
Yeah.
I'm going to give them a 4. So 11?
Yep.
Longevity. How long did they last, Doug?
5 years.
Wow, longer than Demolition?
Yeah.
Wow. What did I give them Demolition?
I think you gave him a 6. Or no, you gave him a 5.
I'll give a 6 for this.
Because they left in like 2019, right?
No, they left in 2019, but they hadn't been used since like 2018.
5 or 6, I don't know.
What'd you give them?
Eric gave him a 6.
Yep.
I'll give him a 5.
I'll give him a 5 too. 16. All right, Impact.
1.
0.
And SpongeBob's having flashbacks.
They really did. I hope there's crossover for the cartoons. Did SpongeBob get a 0?
When we did the league battles, Eric gave SpongeBob nothing but zeros.
SpongeBob's having a flashback.
And then SpongeBob came back and went pretty far in the single elimination tournament.
All right, I'm gonna give him a 10. Write it down. No, I'm gonna give him a 1. I think they had little to no impact at all.
A 2.
Yeah, 2 for Impact. Poor Ascension. Connor and Victor probably pissed, but I mean they were NXT champions and they had a great run.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of NXT, that's why I give them the 1. But never really did anything beyond that.
No, not at all.
Didn't former Legion of Doom manager manage them? What's
No.
his name again? Oh.
No, he managed Authors of Pain.
Okay.
All right, the Ascension rolls in with the Bob Holly and Cody Rhodes are finally beating somebody. They got a 50.
Wow.
Wow, even 50.
All right. Our next tag team on the list, a team that is very highly sought after and thought of as one of the greater teams in the history of wrestling, the Dudley Boys.
Team 3D. Also known as Team 3D.
Yes.
As far as individuals go, obviously Bubba had the bigger run.
Yeah, Bully Ray
Yeah.
was a good run.
Yeah.
Yep.
So for individuals, I'm going to say, and I think Bully is a dog shit person. But
He's funny, though.
he's funny, and unfortunately, he does make good points.
He's gotten better.
But, you know,
Reverend Devon, though, I have
Yeah.
a soft spot for.
see, that was kind of cool. But, like, Bully is, you can kind of put him in the category of, like, our beloved president, to where he can make a good point once every 3 years. So, but as far as like individuals and how good they were in the ring, I'm gonna give him an 8.
I'll go 8 too.
I'm going 9.
There you go, Eric.
You just have a thing for fat white guys.
All right. Chemistry, I'm gonna go 10.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Eva, get the tables. They were always, you know, on the same page.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was waiting for one of those days of like I was waiting for one of those days where like he would go, Devon, get the tables, and Devon would go, get your own table, you fat motherfucker.
Christopher Nowinski tried to fucking do that.
Yeah.
Put a wedge in it. Didn't work though.
No.
Matches. Obviously the TLC matches, the matches in ECW. I think these guys got to get a 10 for this as well.
Yep.
It's kind of hard not to give him a 10.
Hey, great chemistry with Edge and Christian, great chemistry with the Heart. Because you got to think the Attitude Era, they were like one of the premier tag teams featured all the time, and that's when like fucking they were getting like 7th and 8th and doing the fucking greatest ratings when the Dudley Boys were doing their
Remember also too, they went to TNA and they had good matches with the Guns, AMW, LAX. You know,
they work Beer Money eventually?
Yeah, they did. Beer Money, the James Gang,
Yeah.
you know, the Outlaws. They had good matches with everybody. I mean, and also too back in the Attitude Era, the APA.
Yeah.
Yep. And Kane and Undertaker.
Yep. So
And DX. I think.
yeah,
Right?
exactly. So yeah, I think they got 10s all around there.
All right. Another 30.
Did we all give perfect
How
scores
long
so
did
far?
they? Go ahead.
Did we all give perfect scores so far?
Yeah.
Except for an individual.
All right.
Longevity, they were together. I remember Devon at one point said they were together 50. I mean, before TNA really decided to split them up, they were together for 15 years. And then they got back together in 2013, I think. And then they had another couple, and then they were together, I think, another 4 years. 19 years.
Just as long as the Briscoes.
10. I'm going to say...
I'm going to say 10.
I'm going to
It
say
sucks
10
that we
as
never
well.
saw. It sucks we never got to see Briscoes versus Team 3D.
I know.
All right. Overall impact.
10.
It's kind of hard not to give them a 10, right?
27 titles, right? Or 28?
27. Yeah, about that.
I think they won in every organization they wrestled in. New Japan.
Yeah. I mean, technically, they're even credited with being WCW Tag Team Champions, but that's because they won them during the shitty invasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every organization that they wrestled in.
They're 8-time WWE Tag Champs.
Wow. They're just many
Two-time
as times,
TNA.
right?
They were the inaugural TNA.
Yeah.
Did they win more than Steiners, or Steiners won more?
They got more than the Steiners.
Oh yeah.
If
wow.
you factor in ECW, of course.
Okay.
Because ECW is where they won 8, too.
Yeah.
But Booker T will say those are regional titles.
Well, Booker T's also stupid as well.
I'm going to give him a 9. Did you guys go 10?
Yeah.
So 29?
Yep.
All
This
right.
might be the closest to a perfect score that we have.
$144.
Wow.
Wow. I wonder if we are going to get a perfect score for tag team.
I think there's only
Dudley Boys beat Demolition. I think that's fair.
Dudley Boys beating Demolition.
Yeah.
The top two are
They
brothers.
fucking they blew Demolition out of the water.
Yep.
I mean, they barely beat the Briscoes, but
Yeah.
I think there's only 2 teams that could possibly beat the
Steiners
Dudley.
and-
Well, no, I'm not even going to say the Steiners. Obviously, I'll say the Road Warriors
Yes.
Yep.
and maybe the Rock and Roll.
Yes. And in a similar vein, the fellas we're going to talk about next, I mentioned them earlier, Chronic.
Oh, we're still going?
Yeah.
All right.
Chronic.
Do you remember them?
No.
All right. Harlem Heat.
Okay. Another brother team.
Yes. Booker and Stevie Ray, I think they had a great run. As individuals, I mean, Stevie kind of knocks it down, but Booker had such a great run, so I'll go 8.
I'll go 7.
It's funny. Eric didn't like, oh yeah, I don't know about the team that's named after the drug. So, Eric's got a lot of soul in him, so he wants to.
I'll do some research for next time.
You've done a great job, Bobby. What are you giving it for individuals?
7, because I think
Stevie Ray brings it way down.
Yeah.
No offense to Stevie Ray.
Booker's the man, though.
Well,
The last one got 144, right?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I think Charmel's more of a man than Booker. But
And they're not together anymore, right?
no, he's still serving that life sentence.
Oh, okay. I thought they got divorced.
Poor bastard.
Chemistry, I do think Harlem Heat had great chemistry. I won't go give them
What did Eric give them as individuals?
7.
7.
Oh.
So they have a 22. For chemistry, I can't give them a 10 because as far as they were great as brothers and they were good, but you didn't get a lot of their emotional connection or anything.
No.
They were just badass. I will say they had good chemistry. I'll give them an 8 again.
I'm gonna go 6 because Booker was the worker and Stevie Ray was just dog shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 7.
See, I thought
being
Stevie
nice.
was good muscle.
Yeah.
All right, matches. They had great matches with the Nasties.
Nasties, Steiners, Sting and Luger,
Outsiders.
Paul and Nash. That's who the outsiders are. The
I know
Wyndham,
that.
Public Enemy. They did have good matches with the Faces of Fear, American Males. So I'll give them an 8 on that one.
I'm going 9.
I'm gonna go 8 again. 8 this time.
25. Well, Devon and Bubba's good. And Devon are going to be happy winning this debate against Booker next time they have it. All right. Longevity. How long did they last, Doug?
Their first run as a team, they lasted 5 years.
Wow.
Then they
that was
got
great.
back together. They were together for another. They were together for another year. So
And they
6
were never a
years
tag
altogether.
team in WWE because Stevie Ray never made it to
Well, what
WWE.
about
right?
Harlem Heat 2000?
That was Stevie Ray and Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah. still Harlem Heat. Get your ass off. Put your ass down.
I didn't know that. Wow. I guess it didn't.
Andre Johnson was getting fat then too.
We shouldn't really be talking about people getting fat.
So what was it, about 6 years?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him a 7.
I'll go back to the 7.
I'll also go 7.
Overall impact.
They broke a lot of barriers, so I'm gonna give them an 8.
They did break barriers. Hall of Famers. They were Tag Team of the Year for Pro Wrestling Illustrated 95 and 96. They were the WCW Tag Team Champions 10 times.
Wow.
I'll give Harlem Heat an 8. Would you say, Dougie?
I'll go an 8 too.
8.
Yeah, 10
All right,
times
we'll
champions.
8.
She goes
Booker
8.
T. Booker T. 5-time champion, right?
Yeah, 10 times. 5 times. I know.
I think she's trying to tell us SmackDown's almost done.
113.
The magic fucking number. The third.
So we have
The third fucking team that got that.
No, it isn't, is it?
Yeah. They
The
tied.
Warriors.
They tied, or no. They're the second team that got one. You said 113.
Yeah.
yeah.
that one-
2 teams got 113. 2 got 133.
Yeah. So they're as good as the war. So they are
They're as good as the Warriors.
better. They're better than the Ascension. They're
Well, no
better than
shit.
Cody and Bob Holly.
Neither went to 100.
They're as good as the Warriors.
Yeah.
And they're not as good as Demolition. So far, top of the list is the Dudley Boys. Then we have the Briscoes. And then at third place would be a tie between the Guns and the Von Erichs. And then we would have Demolition. And then Harlem Heat and the War Raiders. And then Cody Rhodes and Bob Holly. And then the Ascension. So that's the way the rankings are right now. We will be back for another episode soon. Do you guys want to know what we were doing next week?
I would be inclined to know, yes.
You excited?
I
Yeah.
already know.
Do you know?
I think you told me.
Did I tell you? Because I have a complete opposite thing. This is on the fly what I'm coming up with right now.
So
Oh, okay. I thought you said it on the air last week. Uh,
You said on the air last week what we're doing this week.
Then you said following week.
What did I say?
You said all in. First
Oh,
week.
yeah. Let's do it. All in. The original All In.
Well, what
It's
were
on
you
YouTube.
going to say?
Well, don't worry about it.
Because I think that might be better.
Hey. All In's coming up, and we have to celebrate it.
Yeah, and you guys won't be home that.
Doug's like, fuck
weekend.
that. All right, so the original All In, it was a historic night in wrestling for independent wrestling. John Mayer was there, for God's sake.
I'm hoping we can't find it.
Oh, shit, I'm auto-typing. It just voice-typed everything you just said.
It might be a max.
It's definitely on the Tubi.
Yeah.
So we'll see everybody next week for that. We love you. Make sure to check out the Cartoon Classic tomorrow.
Batman versus Pokemon.
Who's gonna win? We got number 1 seed.
And then we're going to be drafting more teams for the Animated Anarchy series.
Yep.
This was a lot of fun, guys.
How many did we do? 10?
9.
Check out Eric's sports show, and when he talks about the bets and the sports, he is the man when it comes to that. Make sure to check out the Stabcast with me and Mindy on Sundays, and check out the Dizzle verse where I'll be streaming my video games, playing some Red Dead, playing some Switch 2, some Mario Kart, playing some WWE before Raw. It's a good time over there. Make sure to join the Dizzle verse. Come join me. Come inside me.
Subscribe to our channels.
All right.
You'll take care of the shorts, please, Eric.
Come
That's
inside
super
all
cool.
of us. All right. We'll see everybody next time.
Later.
Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.
See ya.